I'd like to present the results of a study that evaluated the effectiveness of a direct-fed microbial along with an antibiotic growth promotant and two different ionophore coccidiostats to reduce Salmonella Heidelberg colonization in broilers. I think we can all agree that our goal in a broiler is to lower the level of Salmonella, either in prevalence or the numbers coming into the processing plant, so that there's less pressure for the processing plant to be successful meeting the USDA FSIS baseline standards. In this study, we looked at two live-side controls, modifying the gut flora and control of coccidia. In modifying the gut flora, we had two different methods. We used both a direct-fed microbial or probiotic and an antibiotic. The second is control of coccidia. Baba and Fred Stevens showed that Eimeria tenella can be a cause for higher colonization of Salmonella, so we know that we need to control the coccidia. Volkova also showed that how you control Salmonella or control the coccidia affects your Salmonella colonization. And Guillermo Tellez demonstrated that low doses of coccidia, primarily Eimeria tenella, can actually be protective. And so in this study, we looked at a control for coccidia with salinomycin or narracin, and the antibiotic flavomycin, which has been shown to have a significant impact on the gut flora, on modifying the gut flora, and also the direct-fed microbial Optibac L, which is a Bacillus licheniformis. And each of the 4 treatment groups were challenged with Salmonella Heidelberg. We had 50 birds per pen, 9 replicates for each treatment, for a total of 36 pens in the study. We challenged at 3 days of age with Salmonella Heidelberg, and we challenged to half of the birds in each pen, so that we had a natural method of challenge, from the cedar birds that were directly challenged to horizontally spread the Salmonella to the horizontal challenged birds. We gave 10 to the 7 colony forming units of analytic acid resistant Salmonella Heidelberg, and we tagged with clothing tags and dyed with a food coloring dye those cedar birds, so we knew which birds were directly challenged and which birds were horizontally challenged. We used boot socks as our means of determining how well the Salmonella challenge was occurring at 14 days. And then at 43 days, we used the boot socks as a means of determining were we decreasing the level of Salmonella that was being shed into the broiler's environment. On 43 days, we euthanized 15 birds, 10 birds from the horizontal exposed, and 5 birds that we directly inoculated the Salmonella to. Our culture method was standard Salmonella culture methodology with tetrathionate at 42 degrees, and then the next day streak onto XLT4 that contained 25 micrograms per mil in nalidixic acid. The enumeration method was the most probable number method, the micro-MPN method that was developed by Roy Burgess and Steve Thayer, and is in that publication. This micro method allows us then to do triplicate of each of the samples. The statistical analysis was that Roy Burgess used is shown and P less than 0.05 is considered significant. So the day 14 boot socks were all Salmonella positive on prevalence, and that gives us then a good confidence that it was a uniform challenge across all of the 36 pens. At 43 days, when we look at the number of Salmonella in the environment of those broilers, we can see that the OBL at a half pound per ton with flavomycin and solidomycin had a significant reduction in the number of Salmonella in the environment of those broilers. And both of the other treatments, the 1 pound per ton of OBL and the half pound with the flavo and narracin, also had strong numerical reduction in Salmonella. Looking at the Salmonella Heidelberg in the Zika, the prevalence of Salmonella Heidelberg in the Zika, we could see that 75.6%, almost 76% of the direct challenged were positive for the infected control, and that the OBL half pound per ton with the solidomycin as the coccidia treatment had a significant reduction in prevalence of Salmonella in the Zika of the broilers at 43 days. Both of the solidomycin and OBL treatments had a strong numerical reduction, but it was only in the direct challenged of the half pound that we saw this statistically significant reduction. When we look at the number of Salmonella in each of those Zika, and that is a big part of trying to understand Salmonella, is yes, we can reduce prevalence, but if we can reduce the number of Salmonella in those Zika, then that's a lower load that's coming into the plant. And in this study, we can see that overall we had a significant reduction in the numbers of Salmonella per gram of cecal content at the half pound per ton level of the OBL, and there was a very good numerical reduction in the 1 pound. We know that culture techniques can't identify all Salmonellas that are present in a sample, and that there is a limit of detection below which we won't find Salmonella. So we censored all of those that had a prevalence of 0 or an MPN of 0 to a minus 0.5 log 10 of Salmonella. So each of those that had an MPN of 0 is censored to minus 0.05, and then a Tobit regression analysis is applied to that censored data. This gives us the opportunity to look at not only the Salmonella in the prevalence and the Salmonella in the MPN, but brings those together so we can have a better understanding of the true Salmonella reduction. And by using this method, we have a significant reduction of Salmonella in the Zika of the half pound per ton broilers, and all of the other treatments in the direct challenge and indirect challenge have a significant, or have a numerical reduction of Salmonella. So using this method, we can see that the prevalence and the number of Salmonella are reduced by the combination of the antibiotic, the solidomycin, and the OBL. Looking at the feed conversion and body weight and feed intake for the broilers in this study to 43 days, we had a significant reduction in a non-adjusted feed conversion for both the half pound levels of OBL, whether using solidomycin or narracin. And for all three of the treatments, we had either significant or numerical increases in body weight versus the infected control. So in summary, the direct-fed microbial plus the antibiotic plus the seleninomycin significantly reduced the Salmonella Heidelberg colonization in the bird's environment as in numbers by the boot socks. And we also had a significant reduction in prevalence and number of Salmonella in the ceca of these broilers. Oftentimes in these studies, I don't have, with Salmonella studies, where we're not really challenging the bird's intestine, I don't see a significant effect on body weight or feed efficiency. But in this study, despite having no intestinal challenge, all of the DFM and antibiotic and anticoccidial treatments significantly increased body weight and decreased feed conversion. Thank you for your attention.